What's going on, traders? Few things to talk about. We're going to talk about the SPY, Triple Qs, Tesla, NVDA, and that's going to be pretty much the video. Nothing too crazy. So before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So Friday, we jumped into Tesla puts. We jumped into 330 strike puts for the expiration of June 6th at 2.97. Basically, when Tesla was around 359, 360, that's when we entered this play. We watched Tesla drop all the way from 360 to 345 and ended up taking profit. I made close to about $2,000. I know it's not reflecting here, but it's definitely in the winners tab. So I made about $2,100 off this play. Discord members killed it as well. So you're going to see a lot of haters in the comment. A few, not a lot, a few haters in the comment trying to call out my losing plays, but they never call out my winning plays. And not only that, but you're going to see them complain about the Discord, but for some reason they're still paying for the Discord for like months. So I don't get that part. So anytime you see a hater in the comment, ask them why are they still paying for the Discord if they hate it so much. All right, and then you guys be the judge after that. All right, but when we look at the winners tab, as you guys can see, this guy right here, he made $100 off the Tesla puts. This guy right here, he made a good $751 off Tesla puts. He basically made close to $800 off those Tesla puts as well. This guy right here, he made $854 off the Tesla puts, made back what I lost on NVIDIA and then some. And this guy right here killed it as well. I mean, he made $2,800 off UNH calls. He made $115 off Tesla puts and another $290 off Tesla puts. He crushed it as well. The list goes on. So let the haters talk in the comments. It's up to you to believe them or not. This guy right here, he made $1,500 off those Tesla puts as well. I mean, it just keeps going, guys. So another great day in the Discord. He made $1,250 off the Tesla puts. So I let the Discord members speak. It is what it is. And of course, you have those hiding in the shadows, hiding behind fake accounts, you know, being mad at the world because they can't make money. It is what it is. But Discord link will be in the description below. Let's get into the SPY. All right, so if we look at the daily time frame for the SPY, you are looking at a rising wedge pattern. Now, you can argue that this is a bear flag as well. A misconception that a lot of traders have is that bear flags have to be a rectangle shape all the time. No, if it looks like a flag, it's a freaking flag. All right, so you have a flagpole here, and then you can argue that this is a bear flag. We'll just call it a rising wedge just to make things simple. I don't want anyone raging in my comments like, oh, there's not a bear flag. All right, I don't want any of that. I don't want to deal with any of that. But we're looking at the daily time frame. As you guys can see, we have our rising wedge pattern. Our key level here is 585. And then after that, you're looking at 582. If you manage to break below, let's go to the 4-hour time frame here. If you manage to break below 585, then chances are you're heading much lower. Now, interesting enough, on the 4-hour time frame, you are below the rising wedge pattern. Now, me personally, I don't like this break just yet, simply because there's not enough volume behind it. So I do think it's very much possible that maybe we retest 592 on the SPY before potentially heading back towards the downside. Obviously, we want to see some volume backing that up. So heading into Monday, maybe we see a move like this before heading back towards the downside. But ultimately, your key level of all levels to the downside, guys, is 585. I encourage you not to jump the gun until that level is broken. If you look at the daily time frame, you have yet to break below this rising wedge. So not confirmed just yet until we break below that key level. We managed to break below 585. 582 is your next level. 580 is your psych level. And then from there, you can head as low as 574, which is where this gap fill is. So right about here. All right, so right here. And then if you manage to just want to fill, if the SPY decides to fill this gap, or the market decides to tank, or whatever the case may be, 570 is your next target, and that's pretty much your gap fill there. As far as upside goes, when it comes to the SPY, simply because this rising wedge is not validated just yet until we see a daily break, it's very much possible that you are forming you did form an inverse head and shoulders pattern. The only issue is that you broke back below the neckline here. So if we look at where the neckline is for this inverse head and shoulders pattern, you broke out, but then bear stepped back in and you broke back down. So I would say this is pretty much invalidated, but it's really up to you guys. Maybe you want to play it, maybe you don't, but me personally, I don't like that it got invalidated, or I don't like the fact that the neckline got broken back down. So we'll see what happens from there. But if we are talking about upside, I think it goes without saying, you want to see a break above 598. 600 is your psych level. You manage to break above 600, then chances are you're heading towards previous highs on the SPY. All right, triple Qs. Triple Qs, you're looking at the same thing. Now we go to the daily time frame all over again. You see pretty much the same scenario on the triple Qs. Again, not convinced about this break here. You formed somewhat of a doji pattern under the break here. It may be a little bit off actually. Let me see. All right, just a little bit off. So yeah, you ended up forming a doji here. So not convincing at all. You go to the 4-hour time frame here. As you guys can see, you're still trading within this range. All right, it's It's a little bit off, but you guys get the idea. You're still trading within this range. You're still trading within this rising wedge. So important not to jump the gun yet. Your key level here was 519. You managed to get below 519 after hours. We'll see if that actually counts for something. I don't really count anything that happens after hours, but we'll see. All right. Now, as far as downside goes, your key levels to the downside, 515. All right. 515, 518, sorry, 518, and then 515. 518, and then if you manage to break below 518, you're looking at a move towards 515. From there, you're looking at 512. All right, 512, where these bullish wicks are. All right, you got a lot of bullish wicks in this area. Bullish wick here, you bounce here, then you did your little consolidation here. You managed to break below 512, then chances are you're heading towards 508, 509, and then from there, you're looking at about 503. All right, now, like I said in the last video, right, like I said in the last video, one thing you want to pay attention to if we continue to break towards the downside is these bulls right here. All right, these bulls right here, right before this gap fill at around 490, 488 range. All right, these bulls right here, I do imagine they are going to be the last line of defense if and only if we continue to break towards the downside. Once we get down here, we saw what happened before. We broke down and we headed within the range of these bulls here, and then ultimately they stepped in, we bounced back towards the upside. So if we do make another attempt towards the downside here, and let's say you're in triple Q puts, I would suggest, this is just me, this is something I would do, I would suggest to myself that I would take profit here at around 503, because there's a good chance that bulls will step in and try to fight this area all over again, and then we'll see what happens from there. So that's what I'm looking at for the triple Qs when it comes to downside. When it comes to upside, once again, you have this somewhat of an invalid inverse head and shoulders pattern. And so what you want to see here is a break back above 522. We just have a hard time staying above that level. Once you get above 522, chances are you're heading towards 527. And then from there, you're looking at 530, 531. And then once you get above here, let's zoom out real quick. Once you get out this range here, then chances are you're heading towards previous highs at around 540, 538 range. All right, so that's what we're looking at for the triple Qs. NVIDIA. All right, so NVIDIA pretty much doing exactly what we talked about, right? It had its earnings. It was bullish for its earnings, and then the next day, it tanks towards the downside. Like clockwork, all right? So someone was saying it was because of the China news. I wasn't saying it, I wasn't doubting that or anything. I wasn't downing that or anything. But if we look at history, every time NVIDIA, or majority of the time NVIDIA has its earnings, the next day it does the inverse of its earnings. All right, that's all I was saying. Whether it's news causing it or not, it doesn't change the fact that historically this has happened almost every single time. Okay, so NVIDIA will be bullish for its earnings, and then next thing you know, the next day it'll tank, and then it will continue in that direction for however long. All right, bullish for its earnings. Wait, was it bullish here? Yeah, bullish for its earnings. Next day, tanks, continues to tank towards the downside. All right, bullish for its earnings here, or somewhat bullish. I guess it ended up bearish, but bearish for its earnings, pumps towards the upside, tanks back towards the downside. All right, so that's what we're looking at when it comes to NVIDIA and basically the history of NVIDIA and every time it has earnings. All right, so what's interesting here is that if you look at the 4-hour time frame, you have officially broken this trend, and you broke it with some decent value. Now the volume is decreasing for the bears here, so it's very much possible that we retest about 137, 138 range on NVIDIA before potentially heading back towards the downside, and then I will be looking at a move towards 130, right where this gap fill is at around 130, 129. Lowest I think NVIDIA can go is around this gap fill at around 117. If we're being a little less optimistic, I would say about 122, 120 range. So what I'll be looking for is a break below not 5, what am I talking about? 127, 126 range. And then from there, you're looking at a complete breakdown, and chances are you're going to start heading towards this gap fill, or at least the top of this gap fill at around 120, between 120 and 117. So that's what I'm looking at for NVIDIA as far as downside. As far as upside goes, 140. All right, NVIDIA just, we talked about this plenty of times in the past. NVIDIA, it just sucks when it comes to that 140 level. It cannot hold above 140 for the life of it. All right, you see it in the past multiple times. It'll do a quick pump towards the upside, ends up right back below 140. I mean, you can see numerous examples of this. Here, you pump towards the upside, break back below 140. You pump back towards the upside, you break back below 140. Here, you pump back towards the upside, break back below 140. Pump towards the upside, all-time highs, break back below 140. Here, back below 140. Here again, back below 140. Here again, back below 140. NVIDIA cannot stay above 140. All right. You can see it in the past over and over and over. Will it stay above that for a few days or so? Absolutely. but can it stay up there for the long run? No, it just doesn't do that. All right, so maybe this time is different. Maybe this is just a simple liquidity grab before we break back towards the upside. But as you guys can see, bears are extremely present above the 140 level when it comes to NVIDIA. Your key level, again, 140. You manage to get above 140 and hold, you're looking at the same levels all over again. 142, 144, 145 psych level. Highs you're looking at is about 150, and then your previous highs around 153, 154. Tesla traded the crap out of this thing to the downside. We made an absolute killing on this thing. At this point, as long as the Tesla stays below 350, chances are you're heading towards 340. From there, lowest I'm looking at is about between 330 and 320. So what I'm looking at right now on Tesla is a break and retest. We're pretty much getting our retest on the 4-hour time frame. You got a nice bearish engulfing pattern right here, but from here I'm looking at a move all the way towards about 330. Lowest we could looking at is around 320. I'm not counting the gap fill just yet. I just think Tesla will probably see at minimum 320. Bulls will most likely defend this area at around 320, and then we'll see what happens from there. It's important to note that Tesla does have his robo-taxi event coming up. It's the following week, so I wouldn't be surprised that investors will want this much cheaper in order to, invest all over again into Tesla. We'll see, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. We have Tesla robotaxi event, and then we have Apple event coming up the following week, the week after this upcoming week. So we'll see. But yeah, Tesla, not a fan of how it's looking right now. I'm really surprised it didn't hit at least 400. Really surprised that didn't happen yet. Maybe it happens closer to the robotaxi event or the day of. But historically, when these stocks have these events, especially Apple, they end up selling off. It's just a buy the rumor, sell the news. Maybe this time is different. We'll see. But yeah, be on the lookout for a robo-taxi event. It has a very bad history of postponing its dates or just canceling altogether, so just be careful trading Tesla to the upside. I won't be surprised this thing hits at least 450 sometime this summer. We'll see. But Tesla for now looks pretty bearish in my opinion. You broke this trend. You have this bearish engulfing candle. You broke below key support here at 350. Chances are, as long as you stay below 350, you're heading towards 330. We'll see. But ultimately, that's all I have for this video. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think we're going to head towards all-time highs this week or the next few weeks or so? What do you think about tariffs? What do you think about Tesla in itself? The whole Elon Musk thing, it's crazy. Elon Musk has a black eye. That's insane. But the whole Elon Musk pretty much leaving the whole Trump administration thing, but somehow still advising him. So are you leaving or not? Like, it's crazy, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Until the next video, traders, have a good one.